Welcome to Optimize 24, the thought leadership event for Aspen Tech. Today we have with us Darryl Willis, who is the Corporate Vice President, Worldwide Energy and Resources Industry at Microsoft. Darryl, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
So for the uninitiated, what is your role at Microsoft entail?
So I lead the energy and resources team for Microsoft. It's a global industry team that's really designed to be a building block between Microsoft and the industry. Microsoft has typically been known for providing software and devices, but what we're really working on now is partnership and building relationships with the industry to really help enable digitization and also decarbonization of the energy sector.
There's been some good talk, some very good talk, bad talk, the ugly, the good, the bad, the ugly of AI. So as a big enabler from your professional perspective, how is AI playing a role in the energy transition?
I believe that AI will be a true enabler and accelerator of the energy transition. It will help us accelerate the journey we are on to provide the world with energy. It will also help to accelerate the digitization of the industry. So from my standpoint, we expect AI and partnership to really pull the energy transition forward and allow us to deliver it faster.
So you're a technologist and a futurist at Microsoft. You partners with Aspen Tech. What is Microsoft's own vision for a net zero future?
So I would say a couple of things. The first thing I would say is that the cloud is essential to the elasticity of the cloud, the safety and the reliability of the cloud are absolutely essential to deliver on any ambitions around AI or generative AI more specifically. And when I think about Microsoft, we've got our own net zero ambitions. And we have challenges around those ambitions, and we can't do it alone. We've said that we will run all of our data centers and operations on clean energy by 2025. We've said that we will be net zero by 2030. We've said that by 2050, we remove all the carbon out of the atmosphere that we've put in the atmosphere since Microsoft was created. So those are big, ambitious goals. We can't deliver them on our own. So partnership is absolutely essential and critical to us being able to do that for ourselves, but also for the world.
Give us a flavor of the kind of solutions that Microsoft is internally deploying to practice what it preaches.
There's some fascinating things happening right now inside of Microsoft and in partnership with Aspen Tech. I think about the work we're doing around distributed energy resource management and how you really integrate wind and solar energy into the existing grid. And how do you do it in real time such that it benefits the suppliers of energy, but also the consumers of energy is one area where we're making great strides. We're also making some great strides on the regulatory process and the licensing associated with things like hydrogen facility development or wind facility development or even SMR facility development. The licensing process is complicated, it's slow. And using generative AI and Copilot, we think we'll be able to reduce the licensing process for some of these sub-verticals by 70% going forward. The third thing I would say is just around asset optimization. Being able to take companies from thinking about preventive maintenance to predictive maintenance to prescriptive maintenance, getting in front of issues before they surface and offering solutions before they surface really goes a long way to improving reliability of energy systems.
Darryl, this is where I see the enthusiasm coming through. They say that the energy business is a rather traditional affair. For yourselves as futurists, how do you unlock value for these guys?
I think that there's three things that we have to do in order to be successful. One is to play to our strengths and to know that as Microsoft, in my particular case, we are a data company, we are a cloud company, and our job is to provide a safe, reliable place for companies to work and apply technology. In partnership with a company like Aspen Tech and in partnership with some of our other companies, we can come together and do things that are transformational. The power is in us figuring out how to intersect our worlds, playing to our strengths, focusing on a few things that we believe will help transform the energy sector.
Darryl, you have a long-standing partnership with Aspen Tech that goes back a good few years. So give us a flavor about the sort of projects you collaborate on and on the various initiatives that both companies are working together.
This relationship is absolutely important to us. One of the challenges I receive from the executive team at my company is to find out and figure out who are the best companies to partner with and build long, strategic, enduring relationships with them. As a result of that, Aspen Tech is at the top of our list. And it's because of the work that we're doing with power and utility companies around the DERMS that I've mentioned. It's because of the asset optimization opportunities that we see for the chemicals industry, for the refining industry, and the more traditional oil and gas industry. And it's because of some of the emerging technologies where we see an opportunity to collaborate with Aspen Tech, whether it's around the application of quantum computing to the industry and industry solutions, or whether it's around hydrogen. And how do we unlock a new hydrogen system that we think is going to be important to the energy transition over the next 10, 20, 30 years? Aspen Tech is a partner in solving the problems that we're trying to deliver on today, but also thinking about the problems that need to be solved in the future, like quantum and hydrogen.
It's a fiercely competitive industry that both Aspen Tech and Microsoft find themselves in. So give us a little bit of a flavor of how you see this partnership, this collaboration, this co-innovation, if I may, unfolding over the near term as well as the longer term.
I believe that as we think about the digitization of the energy sector and the decarbonization of it, we will look back and be able to point to some very specific partnerships that were transformational. I believe that the relationship between Aspen Tech and Microsoft will be one of those partnerships that will help drive efficiencies into worker productivity, efficiencies, whether those efficiencies are in the office or at the frontline worker level. I believe that this relationship will help drive efficiencies in terms of how utilities are able to integrate energy management resources into the existing infrastructure. And I think it'll really help enable the production of hydrogen in a hydrogen system that is aspirational, but needs to be functional as we move forward. So relationships like this will truly be points of inflection points around the success we've been able to have.
And finally, to round up this fascinating conversation, we see the SDG goals that have been set. We look at various targets set by companies, by countries for 2050, for some of the more near-term goals for 2030. Different countries, different companies are going to find their sustainable Alamo at varying speeds. At such a critical time, how do you see yourselves and Aspen Tech sort of holding the hands of these folks in the energy industry and ferrying them to their promised land, the promised Alamo, or the targets that they have themselves set?
It is very complex. And I think I would say a couple of things. The first thing I would say is that we think about it, the first thing we want to do is to meet partners and customers where they are. And what energy access with energy transition looks like to you is very different if you're in North America or Sub-Saharan Africa or in Central Asia. It looks very, very different. And I love to think about the energy transition not as a single thing, but I love to refer to it as energy transitions because it will be very different depending on where you are on the planet. So it's important for us to meet customers where they are and understand the journey that they're on. And then the second thing that's important is for us to figure out how we can assist, whether it's a company, whether it's a country, or whether it's a community. How can we assist you in having access to energy, and how can we assist you to having access to affordable, reliable, and clean energy?
Darryl, we really appreciate your time. Many thanks for your insight.
Thank you for having me.
That was Darryl Willis, who's the Corporate Vice President, Worldwide Energy and Resources Industry at Microsoft.